Homosexuality. How do you talk about it? So how do you bring up a topic that is so controversial within the Christian church? That is a complicated question within itself, but I'll try to answer it anyway, because in the years of talking about myself, I've had to develop my own way of doing it. And this is just my way. This doesn't have to be your way or anybody else's. This is just the way I've done it, and I hope it encourages you guys and gives you maybe some ideas. So I approach it differently between who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to a friend, I'm going to approach it totally differently from the way if I talk to a stranger. But the one thing that I have in common with the way I talk to anybody about it, any Christian who has a problem with homosexuality, struggles with the idea, believes it's a heinous sin, I always approach the topic in love. Always. No questions asked, no exceptions. Because just in my heart, I believe that's the only way that it can ever get across that homosexuals are normal people, that homosexuals are anything but the stereotypes we've been labeled as. That, you know, some of them are true, some of them are stretched truths, some of them are true but only apply to certain people, but not all homosexuals. And, you know, lesbians if you are one. So anyway, the way I approach it with a stranger, and I've had this happen. See, I've really grown in understanding how to approach the topic just because having had to have this conversation many times when I was coming out, because all my friends are Christians. And most of the people that I hang out with are strong Christians and typically disapprove of homosexuality, believe it's a sin according to the Bible. So whether they're a friend or a stranger, first of all, I come in love. Second of all, you know, I share my experience. I share my experience of falling in love with Todd. The same videos that I showed you guys earlier that were about my life, those are the stories I share with people. I shared my story about coming out, realizing that I was gay, realizing that it was a part of me. Those attractions, that capacity to love was a part of me, something I couldn't change. I share my story of being a Christian, always being in church. Wasn't, you know, I didn't have a overbearing mother or a absent father. I wasn't in the clubs every night. I wasn't, you know, if people truly know me, if I'm talking to friends, I don't have to go through that part of it. They know that I've always been in the church and I've always loved God. They know that. So I don't have to prove myself in that regard. But, you know, maybe with strangers, I guess I might have to, but usually I don't have to in that case either, because if I'm talking to a Christian that I don't know, usually it's within the context of some Christian event. So we're all there because we love Jesus, not because we're out, you know, doing horrible things and destroying the world or doing drugs or partying or whatever. We're there because we love Jesus. So anyway, the other thing that's really powerful, not just love and my experiences, because those are things that no one can really take away from me. Nobody can take away my experience in my life. No one can take away the love that I give them. All they can do is just either receive it or reject it. You know, and if that's their choice. I am not. The other thing is that I don't come with expectations to change anybody's mind. For me, it just is what it is, and you can choose to believe it or not. You can choose to agree with it or not. That's your choice. That is up to you. That's something that you have to deal with between you and God, just like I did. So, from that respect, I don't try to persuade anybody. I don't try to get angry. I don't try to yell. I don't try to release more bitterness and hatred into the world, because there's enough bitterness and hatred in this topic, you know, when we're talking. So I try not to go there. So the main thing that I try to hit on is the Bible scriptures, specifically what have become known as the clopper passages. So all the scriptures used to condemn homosexuality. I talk about those. Usually I don't have to bring it up because they'll bring it up for me. And I have my arguments. IETA posted a video that was a very well written argument. Mine's not that good, but it gets the point across that it's basically been taken out of context and used to discriminate and persecute people who are gay, but otherwise love Jesus. And so I talk about that. Usually people have a problem with that. Also, usually people have never heard of that, a counter argument that uses the Bible to support acceptance of homosexuality. So I think I'm doing good work when I get to have these conversations. I get really excited because I get kind of scared, but at the same time I get really excited because it's like, all right, this is an opportunity to educate some people and show them that there's a different way to looking at this. And don't have to look at it as condemning homosexuality. First of all, there's hope for the person who might be struggling. Second of all, there's an alternative to someone who's not struggling but is really into the controversial argument and not understanding the other side of the story. I've been really blessed to run into Christians, friends and strangers, who have come up to me. Even pastors have said, I don't agree with this, but at the same time, I don't understand homosexuality. I really don't understand. They come to me wanting to hear my story and wanting to hear how I reconcile my faith because they just don't understand how that's possible because they believe that the Bible condemns homosexuality. And plus, they don't know what it's like to be gay, what it means to be gay, and they're wanting to try to understand because they want to have an understanding because right now so many people are coming out in and out of the church, not just outside the church, but in the church. Pastors, leaders, lay people, people that are just coming to church, not even leaders, but just family members. And so now it's become such a pervasive topic that it needs to be addressed. And, people that are straight that have no clue about it, want to know, they want to have a better understanding so that they can better minister to the people out there that are struggling, which is really encouraging to me. So I just share my story. I come at it with love. I give my interpretation of the Bible as far as homosexuality is concerned. And I do that with both strangers and friends, but with friends I'm a little more, there's a lot more emotion that goes into it, just not from my part, but just, I guess I approach this topic a lot more tenderly because there's a history that me and that person have. And the thing that I have going for me is that, they know who I am, they know that none of the things that are stereotypically gay fit my personality or my history. And so a lot of them honestly have a lot of trouble believing that I was even gay when I came out and I was telling people. And most, 99% of people were shocked and had no clue because it was like, you don't look, sound, or act gay or anything like that. It's like, yeah. And really, the only thing different about me is that I like men and I want to spend my life in relationship with a man instead of a woman. Outside of that, there's no difference, and that's what I want to show. But I try not to show that with words. I try to show more when I talk to somebody about this conversation. I try to use my actions. I try to use love. I try to use being blameless. I try to use example, setting a good example, and just by the way I speak with them. I want to be very gentle, loving, forgiving, understanding. I want to hear their side. I want to give them a chance to speak what they have to say. And say, okay, cool. Here's what I have to say. There you go. I try to keep it as a discussion more than a debate or an argument. That's not where I want to go with this. I don't want to tear people apart. My goal is to bring people together, which is why I'm doing this video. It's why I'm doing this channel and this collab with my friends, is because we want to see, not only do we want to see gay people restored to the church, but we also want to see the church come together with the gay people. The rift that is so lodged between gay people in the church, we want to see that a bridge. We want to build a bridge between the two so that we can all be a family again and love each other and understand each other and respect each other and treat each other like the brothers and sisters in Christ that we are. So for me, it is my joy to do it, but not as a way of trying to tell someone that I'm right or try to win an argument. My reason is to perpetuate love and to bring understanding, bring peace, bring joy, and bring love for the homosexual from the hearts of Christians who don't understand, and so that they can learn how to have compassion on those people. That's my explanation. Like I said, my opinion. Anybody can do it however they want, but that's how I choose to do it. And hopefully this helps any of you who are watching. I love you all, and thank you so much for listening. Comment, subscribe, send us emails through our YouTube account, inbox us. We also have a Facebook page called Gay Christian. Look us up. We would love to hear from you guys. We want to hear more questions, more comments. If you guys have anything that's, you want to know either about us or just something for us to talk about as topics related to gay Christians, please send them in, because that's what we use to make these videos. That's where we get our ideas from. So everyone, be blessed.